Talking, blah, 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 blah. Is this working? Yay! Hangout is live, and welcome to Dylan Knows, the best video show on YouTube for a long time now, almost a year now. It's still the best show out there, and welcome to a live episode every Sunday at 12:30. I know it's 12:34, but once again, dreaded tech issues have popped up on me, and I shouldn't even be surprised anymore, you know. But regardless, it doesn't matter because after a 2-month hiatus, I've got the lovely Larissa back. Hi, Larissa.
Hi, how are you? Nice to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Short summer, though, right? It's flying
back. Oh, it is, absolutely. I mean, it's mid-August. I mean, the kids go back to school on the 27th, which is, 10 days, 9 days, something like that? It's not even that long.
Mine go back the 25th, so, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of sucks. It does, but you know what? I've been fairly happy with the weather. I mean, I'm not a big hot summer guy. We've had a pretty temperate summer here on the Mid-Atlantic, so I'm pretty happy with that. But we're here to talk about the paranormal. That's what we do every third Sunday of the month. Wow, it is the third Sunday of August. Jeez. Whew. Anyway, this is the Paranormal Show. Where Daphne and I, not Daphne, Larissa and I, Daphne is your stage name, to discuss all things paranormal. And Larissa is actually, who do you write for, Larissa?
I write for paranormalpopculture.com, and yeah, you can go there. The link is on the bottom. We cover news of the weird that relates to the entertainment field. Movies, TV shows, comic books, regular books, I guess, web videos, anything that has something to do with the unexplained, supernatural, paranormal.
There's some good stuff on there, yeah. I mean, and it's a good way to get out because not a lot of people know a lot of these stories. I mean, there's a website I use called Unexplained Mysteries, which you hooked me up with, which just detail all these supernatural type stories. But you know, a lot of people might not know about that. Whereas name like Paranormal Pop Culture, you see pop culture, and people are going to be interested, and then you get to see the stuff about the movies and the TV, which are interesting for people. But then you actually get these other articles thrown in too, which is excellent. So this is going to be a shortened episode this week, just because I've found out that my father and my stepmom are going to be invading the house in about a half an hour. But we're not going to be on for half an hour. We'll be on for an hour. We'll be on till 1:30, so they can hang upstairs for an hour or half hour without me. They'll be fine. They're going to be kids anyway.
Let them come on for a little guest appearance.
If they want to, they come down and say hi. I'll say, come on down. You can come on down. But we're going to just do a few things quickly. I've got a bunch of news of the weird, and pretty much a theme, which you'll see. Basically, you can see with my name, Martian Ambassador, some weird things going on the planet Mars, some interesting things going on the moon. But I also have one or two other things about that are bizarre as well, that are not connected to space stuff. And then I figure we may also talk a little bit about Robin Williams, since he did pass away last week, and he did do a couple movies that are, you could consider maybe paranormal-esque, especially one major one I want to talk about, which plays especially into how he passed away. Not to put it too badly, but let's get into the news though first. Actually, first, Larissa, why don't you tell me the breaking news you just told me right before we started?
Well, the paranormal field lost a man named Frank Sumption. He passed away from a heart attack. There is a full article on paranormalpopculture.com written by Aaron Sagers, our founder and editor. And he invented what's called the Frank's box or ghost box. And if you've investigated and somebody, he didn't sell them really, I guess. He would distribute them. He loved EVPs, and the box would, as the article says, it would sweep the AM radio band, and supposedly the sounds that were being picked up on the constant scan included spirit voices. So if you've ever used one, and I've been in the presence of one and used one, it sounds like, it's like white noise, and then every once in a while you'll hear like Dylan comes through, and it's like, oh, and you know, it's one of those things like, people are critics, of course. There's always going to be critics of any kind of investigative device, I think. But you know, it's one of those like, are you hearing what you want to hear, or is it just a random radio station being picked up and it's just, but it's nevertheless, it's a loss to the paranormal community. And if you want to learn more about Mr. Assumption, you can go to paranormalpopculture.com and check out the article. So, rest in peace.
Yeah, it's sad, and not to make light of it, but maybe now he can talk to people through his box now too. So it might be pretty cool.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come haunt you all.
Oh yeah. Especially Aaron, right? You're gonna get right on Aaron. You're just gonna be around him all the time.
Yeah. No, I have a list.
I might have just gotten on that myself. So.
I'm gonna be buried with it. It's gonna be my.
But speaking of ghosts, actually there was a man who was fined for pretending to be a ghost. I don't know if you heard this story. In South Sea, Hampshire, over in England, a 24-year-old guy and his buddies got a little drunk at the pub, and they were passing by Portsmouth Kingston Cemetery, which I guess is purported to be maybe a kind of a haunted spot. And he did it himself. I don't think any of his buddies helped him, but he decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run around this graveyard and go, woo, woo, woo. That's what he did. He was running around. He was running around the graveyard and doing the wooing noise, and there happened to be like some houses and neighbors nearby, and they were like, "What the hell is this?" And it was loud and obnoxious, and so I think at that point they said, "There's no way it's a ghost," and they saw this guy running around, so they called the police officers, and they came in and they arrested him, and they fined him 35 pounds, and then charged him an additional 40 pounds in costs. Victim costs, I think, was 20 pounds, and 20 was some other type of cost also. So it's not good to, you just got out 75 pounds for running around the graveyard and going, woo!
Like 75 pounds worth of alcohol he could have bought. Seriously.
Exactly. So people, don't go out and pretend you're ghosts. You will be fined.
I don't need to pretend. Kurt, no, I do not watch Supernatural.
Ah, yeah, I don't have the Q&A up today just because we have a short episode.
It was a tweet, so, but yeah, I've watched a couple episodes, but I've just never gotten into it. But I've met a couple of the people on it, but
just never watched it before.
I don't watch a lot of shows, like people think because I watch American Horror Story, Game of Thrones, True Blood, and The Walking Dead, like religiously. I watch them. I watch, as far as like, I'll watch some sitcoms. I watch very few reality, supernatural shows, paranormal shows, or any other shows. I don't watch. If I do, it's pretty sporadic. But yeah, surprisingly, like I don't watch a lot of shows. I watch more movies than TV shows. So
to each their own. I mean, and you do a fine job with your reporting. So it's fantastic, and it's great. Just to watch what you like. I used to watch the paranormal reality shows a lot more, but just recently I've just gotten away from them a lot. I've gotten away from Ghost Adventures. I haven't really been watching Ghost Hunters that much. And I don't know what it is. Is it just because, all right, it's no longer seems new and interesting? Maybe it seems to be the same stuff over and over again. I don't know. Finding Bigfoot.
It's not novel anymore. I mean, I don't want to knock the shows. People love them, and they're looking for answers. I guess I don't know if it's at the point where it's just kind of like entertainment value. I mean, it used to be where I'd watch them and I was fascinated and I was learning, and then I've been on enough investigations where like the devices they've used, have been used in my presence, and maybe it's lost its, mystery to, I don't know.
Yeah, mystery, the luster a little bit. I mean, and at the same time, sci-fi, meanwhile, they're trying to focus more. They're the ones who started it all, basically, with Ghost Hunters. They're starting to shift back more towards entertainment.
Yeah, scripted shows.
Yeah, which
and the shows that they put out, the reality shows, they're more in the Face-Off vein. It seems like Face-Off has become what to sci-fi what Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters used to be. Ghost Hunters kind of spawned a lot of the paranormal reality shows. Now it seems like Face Off has like the Jim Henson show. There was cosplay. There was that Naked show where they were doing the body painting. So it seems like Face Off has become the grandmother of the reality shows on Sci-Fi at this point.
And then eventually, that'll probably die off, and another one will pop in its place, and we'll have another bunch of stuff like that. I mean, I guess that's how the cycle works, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's still stuff out there. I mean,
but people are still into it.
Yeah. Hello?
Be there.
Okay, yeah. Just to make sure that, yeah. People are still into it. You are correct. Yeah. I mean, and we've got Josh Gates's Discovery Channel show coming up soon.
Is it Travel
Channel? Yeah, the Travel Channel show coming up. So maybe that'll get some people back into it. And I mean, Ghost Adventures has been around. I mean, they just did did they just do like their 100th episode or something like that?
200th is coming up, and gosh, that blew up. I was watching the Will Wheaton Project on Tuesday night, and he said Jason Hawes and Steve Gonzalez are going to be here to make an announcement. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm thinking it's like we're done or something, but it was that Grant Wilson would be joining them for their 200th episode.
Okay.
That just, I wrote it up really quick, it's one of those, like, give me the computer, kids, and it's going to air on October 22nd at 9. And, gosh, it just got great numbers. It just showed that people are so interested in this still. I mean, it was one of the biggest, it was probably one of the biggest stories of the week. And also Amy Bruni branching out into her own business of paranormal investigation events. So, yeah, people really, they want more. So I guess the networks need to listen. I'll show them the numbers.
And I also think it's also going to be kind of cool that Ghost Hunters also got Dustin Perry coming back on also.
And Joe Chin. I saw, and Joe Chin was mentioned in the commercial afterwards, after the announcement. I'm like, yay, love Joe Chin.
That is cool. I like Joe also.
They're really a great group of people. So it's nice. Nice that they're doing well and coming back.
Yeah, that means that I might have to start watching it again because of all this.
Yeah, I will totally tune in for some more episodes of Ghost Hunters, especially to see Joe and Dustin. Joe's my bud.
I got some news possibly about Dustin later on, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But, the next. Yeah. Well, I guess we talk about it now.
Yeah, bring it up now. We're talking about it. Go ahead.
I'm in the process. I mean, as I say right now, nothing's set in stone yet. I'm still working the process right now, but I've contacted Dustin Perry. I talked to him through Twitter. He actually responds to me. We've had conversations back and forth before, and I mentioned, hey, September is going to be my 1-year anniversary for Dylan Knows, and I'm going to be doing the celebratory thing because I love doing the show, and I love to celebrate like holidays and events, stuff like that. So I'm going to try and do some spectacular stuff in September. And I asked Dustin point blank, do you want to be on my show? And he said, let me think about it. I'll get in touch with you. I haven't followed up with him yet. That's on my fault because as soon as I sent that out, he responded that I went on vacation, and then after vacation, I had to deal with all this work stuff that was just sapping the life out of me for the last 2 weeks. So it's starting to get settled down again, and plus September, as we mentioned earlier, is roaring up here. I mean, it's coming up quickly. It's like 2 weeks away.
It looks like the third Sunday in September is the 21st.
Yeah. So try to get him in for maybe that show, or maybe do a special show. We'll work out a time where all of us, you, me, and Dustin might be able to work it in there. So if I get my step in the door, that's a pretty good deal. If I can score Dustin, that'd be great. So Dustin, if you're watching,
and John. Oh, I was gonna say. Go ahead. What?
No, I'm just saying. What were you going to say about Joe Chin? That actually, that might be interesting also because you're good friends with Joe, so maybe I can get him on there as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, he could come. I know their weekend. Like every time, like Joe and I are friends on Facebook. I think I'm friends with Dustin too, but every weekend he's somewhere. Like I think he's in Pennsylvania this weekend. Yeah, like their weekends are like so crammed. So that would be the only downfall, as far as getting them on. But I was going to say for October even, we should consider having Jonathan Ryan come back on because he has a spooky new book coming out. I think it's like November 1st or something like that, but it's called The Dark Bride, so there's something too.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to discuss with you also. So hey, same wavelength, awesome.
I've been told I'm a witch, so that's
not by me, so
no, like legit, but I just know things. I could read your mind through the Google Hangout.
So yeah, you better watch out. There's people who are
look out. Daphne Doers reading your
mind. So that's cool. So we got some good stuff coming up, and then I'll mention one other thing coming up in September, possibly at the end of the show. But another news of the weird is police raided, going back to England, police raided a pub in Herefordshire looking for the Holy Grail.
There's a pub.
Yeah, I mean, there's a rumor. There's a rumor out there that the Nantios Cup, which is something that was found in Nantios, is some city in I don't know where. Actually, I should do more research, I suppose. But it was supposedly the Holy Grail, and someone stole it, and so they're trying to find it. And they got a tip that it could be at this pub, so the police went into this pub in Herefordshire and tore the place up.
Yeah, the Nantios Cup is a medieval wood mazer bowl held for many years at Nantios Mansion near blah, 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 in Wales. Blah, blah,
blah, Wales.
Aberystwyth, Wales. Fun fact.
Yes, excellent. So, but they did not find it, so the Nantios Cup / possible Holy Grail is still out there somewhere. So I think we need Monty Python to find it now. Yeah. So it's probably in France.
Yeah, totally.
And then one last news thing before I get into the space stuff. Those who've been watching the show know that I've had some encounters at my house with what I call the ghost cat, which is, I believe, to be the ghost of my cat, Bonnie, who passed. We had to put to sleep a few years ago. And, it's not terrifying, it's just interesting little things that happen here and there. And my current cat, Jinx, has also been experiencing some stuff, and she's experienced 2 weird things this past week that I just want to drop in here that I'm not saying is necessarily a ghost cat thing, but animals do have a bit more of an attunement to the spiritual and paranormal, whatever. But there's a spot up in my living room. It's like a little alcove where when we first moved in, we put the cat's litter box, both Bonnie's and our other cat Clyde's litter box upstairs, just to get them used to the house, because they had never been in this house before, and they needed to get used to it. The basement was filled with big boxes and dirty, and not dirty, but just filled with boxes, and they didn't understand it, didn't know what it was, so I didn't want to scare them, so we didn't put it down in the basement yet. So we kept it upstairs for a while, and then we brought it back downstairs. We brought it down to the basement once we settled in, and then everything was fine, and then we had to put Clyde to sleep because he got sick. And then a few years later, we had to put Bonnie to sleep. But before we had to put Bonnie to sleep, she was getting really, really sick, and she was going to the bathroom everywhere around the house. So we put the litter box upstairs. Plus, it was hard for her to walk up and downstairs. So we put it back in that alcove, and that was where it was till she passed away. And then when Jinx moved into the house, we kept it there until she got used to the house, and then we moved it downstairs. So the alcove is no longer a kitty litter area. We've cleaned it up. It's got new carpeting. My wife Dawn, has got her little chest of little statues and jewelry and stuff like that up there, kind of like a china closet almost, but without the china. A baubles closet, if you want to call it that.
Tchotchke closet.
That's right. There you go. That's excellent. But the other day, Jinx was staring, was on all four legs, just staring in that spot. And there was no bug, there was nothing over there. She was just still as a board, just staring in the spot where this litter box used to be. And my first thought was, maybe she smells something that doesn't smell right or whatever. But then I said, well, maybe Bonnie might be in that corner. Maybe because that was her litter box. Maybe she was in that corner. I don't know. And then I didn't think much about it. And then like a day or so later, the same thing happened, but by her food dish. And once again, no bugs, no anything were there, because I checked. She was just standing on all fours, about a foot or two away from it, and just staring at it. and as if something was there. And then I went in and I just thought maybe she didn't want like the water that was in there, because you know how cats are. Cats are picky about things. So I picked up the water, I dumped it out, I cleaned it up and put it back in and refilled her food dish. And she stood there for just a few more minutes like that, and then she went in and ate. So maybe she was just waiting for me to change her food and water dish, but at the same time, that was the same food and water dish that Bonnie used to use also. So was it Ghost Cat? I'm not saying it was, but it was just two little interesting things where Jinx, who usually isn't the type who just stands still and looks at something, did it twice within a week in areas that are, familiar to our old cat. Just made me think, there's something going on. So that's my Ghost Cat update. Ghost Cat, yeah. And both Dawn and I have experienced it. So and Jinx has heard her before too. So she's been fairly quiet lately. I haven't seen anything lately. So uh-oh. I just saw what you were doing. That's okay. Do what you want.
Look for a cat noise. I can't find cat noise.
Oh no.
Meow. Meow in the background. Oh, yeah, it's like...
there's the applause. Yay! I thought I heard some crickets in there also.
Oh, Lord.
There we go. Awesome.
There needed to be cat noises.
Yes, so Google.
Anyway. Ghost.
Google, it's up to you. Google, you need to put cat noises in your Google effects.
Google? How is there not a cat noise?
I know.
It's the internet. Cats rule the internet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
My kid's new favorite thing is there's a video of the top 10 cat videos where it's Star Wars connected. So like they superimpose like lightsabers and stuff on it. It's actually really funny. I love that one. So that's it for the regular news. Now, this is sort of a theme that's been building up. There have been some interesting developments lately in the outer space aspect of things. And once again, not saying aliens, whatever, but just some weird pictures have been seen lately. And the majority of them have been reduced by more rational thinking people as a something called pareidolia. Pareidolia. It's the seeing familiar things in various objects, sort of similar like the face on Mars, which is the first main.
Yeah, like when there's a knot of like when there's a knot of wood and you could see a face in it, you're gonna gravitate toward seeing a familiar thing like a face. Or I used to have a set of curtains where I would just like stare at it and you could just start to see faces in it. And I mean, it was just clearly the pattern. And I'm clinically insane, but.
But yeah, that's what.
But yeah, that's what you're telling me.
That's the pareidolia. Yeah, that's insane. But I mean, and that's that's what everybody experiences it. They see these things and stuff like that. So you could write these off as being wishful thinking that there might be something there. But there's just been I find a lot of this stuff interesting. It's just the fact that there are some people out there who are so adamant that there's no way in hell there's anything out there and that it's just this pareidolia or it's light rays or whatever. Yeah, and that's fine. And then and then there's the people who are just so adamant that yes, it's proof that there are alien beings on another planet. We're never going to know until we actually land on the planet and walk up to someone and say, hey, hi, we're from Earth. You live here on Mars? Then we'll know for sure. Or if they come and land in somewhere and they come out and say, hi, we're aliens. We are here for peace, or we're here for your women, or we're here to kill you, whatever.
Would we believe them? Would we believe them if they did, unless they looked incredibly strange? I mean, anybody could say it. I could say right now I'm an alien.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably believe it. Like seriously, like you'd have to be even. I mean, you guys watch Face Off. Like you could do anything with makeup. I mean, you'd have to really you'd almost have to dissect the person and do an autopsy on them. Because anybody could say they're from outer space. Put a bunch of makeup on, talk funny, and make up a language. I could start going Gigi boopity boopity, and you'd be like, oh my God, she's an alien. She's got like pink in her hair. She must be. Like,
Welcome to Earth. Let's dissect you.
well, yeah, but basically, like anybody could just kind of come out and we'll just think they're crazy or they're lying. And I mean, unless they shoot rays, maybe they could shoot something out of their fingers or butt or something.
Which is good, and that's an aspect that a lot of people think about. But I find these kind of stories interesting. There's a whole bunch of stuff lately. We're not going to start with Mars, right? We're going to start with the most recent one, is on the moon. Some guy fiddling with Google Moon, which I've never actually done before, but I guess with all the satellites that go over the moon, they take pictures of the moon's surface. And I guess if you want to see what the moon looks like for real, you go and you put in coordinates, and it'll take you to where it is on the moon. Well, this guy, I guess, was just fiddling around with Google Moon, putting these coordinates, or was just looking around, and discovered this weird thing that looked like a human shadow on the moon. Like there was an object that, it's from above, so you really can't tell, but there seemed to be something standing, and then there was the shadow of, it looked like a human. It had head and arms and legs and stuff like that. Now, my first instinct right off the bat was probably a rock formation or whatever that was there, and that's probably what it is. And once again, or could this be pareidolia thing where it might not be anything? It might just be a trick of the light or whatever, the way the sand is. Maybe the dirt on the moon has some dark aspects to it, and just the way that it's shifted due to cosmic wind or whatever formed this shape. And it's just in this, they only had the one picture. I mean, that's the only thing that I haven't seen, is they haven't gone back and said, is it still there? Let's take a picture. Let's take a picture again a day later, or a day before, or 10 days later, to see if it's still there. Now, if it's still there, then obviously the person's not just going to be standing there the whole time going like that. It's going to be it's going to be seen. Or it could be the shadow might look different now, and then that would just prove right then and there that it's probably just a rock formation or something on there because of the way that it's pictured. But if it disappears completely, then there's something you got to start thinking, interesting. But
did they think it was an actual living being, or it almost looked skeletal, like it just looked like a black stick figure or something, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, they didn't really say. I mean, on the one hand, the conspiracy people are saying it's possible that it was, a being, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe if it is, hypothetically, let's just say maybe there was a top secret exploration of the moon, and this person died, and his skeleton is up there, and it's not going to move. It'll stay in that form. It'll stay in that way for forever, I guess, and it won't change. And maybe that could be one person could look at, okay, if it is, say it is a skeleton, and it has the same picture, then NASA could say it's just a formation on the moon. You'll never know unless you actually get down there and look at it and see if it's a skeleton or whatever. But to be honest, they said that it was it's come from, I've heard skeletons, I've heard that it's a humanoid alien type of thing, or that it could be a human on the moon just walking around, because they're saying, because they're saying there's some people who believe that there are moon bases on the moon. I mean, the conspiracies, once again, you take pictures of stuff, you see weird things that you can't describe, and pictures can, your mind is wired a certain way. Your pictures see this, the pictures see that, and you assume right off the bat that that's what it is, but it not necessarily be what it is. That's the essence of pareidolia, I guess. But from what I gathered, it seemed like someone thought that it was possible proof that there was an alien or another human on the moon, and that it's proof that we have actually bases on the moon, that we've been going back to the moon consistently, just in secret. No one's ever seen us build stuff like that, and which makes sense because we haven't been back to the moon with people since the 70s, and so they just abruptly stopped sending people to the moon, and then they decided to focus more, I guess, on the space shuttle, where to be honest, I don't even know what the space shuttle was for. They're no longer doing it anymore. I mean, if they wanted to do it to build it to go to Mars or to the moon again or whatever, well, they just tested it for years and years and years, and then maybe the Challenger explosion might have had something to do with the fact that it got knocked back. I don't know, but for me, it just seemed like, okay, we built the space shuttle. It's orbiting the Earth. Were they going to use it to maybe go land on the moon again and go land on Mars? And then when all the problems happened with the Challenger explosion, and then there was like what Columbia or something like that a few years later that blew up also. That it just set everything back, and then they said, you know what, we're not going to do it anymore. We're not going to build the space shuttle anymore. We're going to build this other thing, and they've been building it recently. We haven't seen the launch for it yet, so I don't know. But it just was a really odd picture, and it's one of those things that it just, even if you're a skeptic, it's just kind of cool to see. You know, it's just kind of cool to see.
Yeah. These Google image, it was a Google image, right?
Yes,
like,
Google Moon. Yes.
I mean, they're really stirring up some crap, aren't they? These Google, we had the Loch Ness monsters. Somebody thought it was a Loch Ness monster, and that was Apple Maps, I think. But
it's a similar thing. It's these satellite imaging of planets.
Why can't it find Bigfoot? God, Bigfoot, he's pissing me off. Why can't we find Bigfoot with one of these? Right?
I know, yeah, you think keep.
I miss him.
Focus, fly over and focus on the areas where he's seen, and take lots and lots of pictures. Eventually, you might be able to see him come out in a clearing or something like that. You never know.
Gotta come out.
And that leads to Mars then, which is really interesting because right now with Mars, they've got the Curiosity rover on there, which has been taking some excellent pictures of the Martian surface, have been doing some excellent scientific work. They've been discovering a lot of cool things and lots of like that. And NASA, to their credit, has been releasing the photos. They haven't been editing them as far as we know. But but they've been releasing everything that they see, and there's they have a constant stream apparently on their Mars Curiosity website. You can go, and every picture that they get from Curiosity, I guess after it gets to the Earth and maybe goes through the NASA filter, then it goes out onto the website. That way you can actually see what the NASA scientists are saying also. And to be honest, it's going to be boring. I mean, it's okay. There's a rock. There's a it looks like a riverbed or stream bed or whatever. There's dirt, There's lots of rocks, But every once in a while, they get some really cool pictures. On the non-paranormal sides, they got the really cool picture of the Earth from the surface of Mars. It was like the bright star in the sky. It looks like a planet. Like how we see Venus and Jupiter and Mars itself from Earth. Well, they had a picture of the Earth taken from from the surface, and that was kind of cool. You had I thought was an awesome picture of a Martian sunset. Seeing that the sun is much smaller because Mars is further away from the sun than we are, but you still get sort of the similar feels to it. You get the you get the sun, and yeah, it was a black and white imagery, but you can only imagine that there's probably some sort of change of color in the atmosphere, even though it's a different type of atmosphere. And to be honest, I really don't know if it wouldn't surprise me. Do they also maybe have northern lights as well? I mean, I don't think they have quite the magnetic field that we have, but I think they have some kind of magnetic field. Would they have some? I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's what makes it really interesting, and that's what I find fascinating. I've always loved these pictures from foreign planets, from the outer planets. I mean, when they released the pictures of Titan, it was like, oh wow, this is really cool. It looks like Mars, yeah, it does. But there is with one difference. They actually have lakes and streams and oceans, which they have proof of and have shown pictures of. But it's not water. It's I don't know, some other chemicals in a solid format. Not carbon, but it's a really kind of neat looking. But I mean, it looks like the Earth. I mean, Titan looks like the Earth. It's just that they have rivers, they have streams, they have islands, they have an ocean, but it's not. It's liquid. It's not water. It's like liquid. One of these chemicals that can only be found out in Titan or whatever. So it's actually some really cool stuff. But that's what always interesting. But then you have all this Curiosity stuff as well. They've been showing these weird pictures. I think you might have seen. Have you seen the mermaid picture? Have you seen that one?
Mermaid picture from outer space?
From Mars. There was a picture that
Oh.
it wasn't Curiosity. It was actually Spirit. who took it, and it's in the distance, and they did a close-up of it, and it looks like a a woman seductively sitting on a rock, like a mermaid. You've got the face, you've got the shoulders, and you've got the body, and then it looks like the legs are twisted a little bit, sort of like she's sort of sitting on her knees or whatever. It's actually kind of neat. And when I was doing and I'd seen that before, but when I was doing my research for today's episode, they have a ton of video evidence, and the conspiracy guys out there who claim that there are humanoids on Mars and all these things going on. They make these YouTube videos, and they get the creepy music behind it, and it gets you it's really kind of cool. But I do have to, I will say this outright. There was this one I was watching that was called Proof of Humanoids on Mars, and they were taking various shots that Curiosity did, and the Spirit one with the mermaid lady, and they put it to music, and they put circles around it and little notes and stuff like that. And I'm looking at this I don't see it. I really don't see. Oh, I like that. How did you do that? Is that in Google Effects also?
I'm gonna tell it. I'm a mermaid. So you don't see my legs.
That's awesome. But so there's all these really cool. But this guy, he was saying this is a humanoid shape. This is a humanoid shape with this other thing. And I'm looking at the pictures no, it isn't. It really doesn't look at all. Yeah, it's Martian, but it looks like it's hard to tell. It just looks like rocks to me. So. But there were,
what you want to see.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And there were some really neat things that have been showing up recently. More on the light aspect. The one that happened, I discussed briefly in my June episode when you weren't on there. There was a shot that looked like that a light was emanating from the surface of Mars, shooting upwards, as if someone had opened a trap door in the ground of Mars, like they're living underground, and light was shooting up. It was an interesting shot, and it was, I think NASA, what did NASA call it? They called it a, no, that's something else. They called it, maybe it was the sunlight shining off of a Martian rock, or subatomic particles that flew into the camera chamber that made this thing, or a gamma flash. But it was really neat looking. It literally looked like that someone had opened a trap door and light was shooting up into, how you have light and then you open up the roof or something and the light shoots up in the air, and that's what it actually looked like. And that was kind of neat looking. Curiosity did. That was back in April.
That's on Mars.
Right? Yeah, all on Mars. Yeah, all on Mars. Yeah.
Hey, maybe there's something living in the terrain, underground, because it's so cold. Because it's further away from the sun, but maybe there's warmth in there. Hey, you never know.
You never know. Plus, you know what? There are also, one of the theories is that the water that was supposedly on Mars, that the scientists have said has been there, has disappeared from the surface. Maybe it's been sucked into aquifers in the ground, and maybe they live.
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Why don't they talk to us?
That's the thing. They go out of their way to try to figure out which, and
they're like, I swear.
Yeah, they say subatomic particles, or it's a gamma flash, or whatever, or sunlight glinting off a rock. Okay, that's fine, and it could be those things. Don't get me wrong. It could very well be those things, but it just seems really weird that it popped up there. And then the other one that actually was taken on my birthday was a multiple shot one, which is a bright light in the sky, looking like it was descending, like it was landing. You know how airplanes look at night, you get the light in the sky and it moves across the sky? Well, they had a couple of pictures. They took a couple frames of pictures and looked at them, and they had this one light in the sky that's here, and then the next picture it's like down here, and then the next one it had disappeared. Now that was NASA's description of that, was that it was a hot pixel, which is a great band name, by the way, but a hot pixel.
What was it again? Hot pixel.
Hot pixel, which is something they say is in cameras, that these flashes of light appear periodically. But this thing doesn't. Am I freezing up, or are you freezing up? Are you okay? Are you freezing up? Oh, we're so close. I think Larissa's frozen up. But they're calling it a hot pixel, and they had this picture of this light in the sky, and then it was landing. So, all right. So Larissa's frozen here. Let's see if I can get her back. Hello, Larissa. Are you there? I think Larissa's gone. I think Larissa froze. Um, hmm. Uh, See, this seems to be it's going to be a normal thing for me right now. Um, can't believe that. 45 minutes in, and this is the first time it happens. Maybe I need to make this show. Maybe it's telling me I need to make this show 45 minutes long. I don't know how else to do this. Can I eject her from here? I think maybe we might just end the discussion now. It's going to be a shortened episode of Dylan Knows till I figure out what's going on with the computer. I pretty much got everything out that I wanted to talk about. Well, there were some other things I wanted to talk about, but and I wanted to get Larissa's take on it. But we'll have to figure out another way to fix this in the end. It is becoming a recurring problem, so I'll have to figure out what to do next. It's hard to say, but we've got some options coming up, so we'll see what's going on. But I think for now I'm just gonna drop. I'm gonna see if I can eject her from. Let's see if I can eject her from the show. Eject. All right. All right. I just ejected her. Maybe this will work this time. And I'll re-invite her. Larissa. Invite. All right, so we're going to invite Larissa back in here. This worked the last time when I tried to do that with Jerry. It didn't quite work. But hopefully this will. So I mean, this time it allowed me to re-invite her, which is good. So I'm going to send her a tweet. Dropped you, then re-invited. All right, there we go. So hopefully she'll see that. So I'll just keep chatting here for a little while longer to see if we can get her back on here. Hopefully she'll either respond to my tweet or she'll pop up on the screen soon enough. But I think we had a good discussion so far today, and I was going to leave this early anyway because I just heard my dad and stepmom just came in the door. But let me just finish up my thoughts. So NASA says it's this thing called a hot pixel, which is apparently a regular camera thing, a regular camera trick that they use. Not a trick, but it's something that's in the camera as well. It's taking a little while for her. I'm going to re-invite her again. Re-invite her again. So hopefully one of those she'll be able to connect on. But I don't know if I truly buy it because it's a small dot. It looks like an airplane. Okay, and you can go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and just look up like Mars lights or Mars anomalies on Surface Mars, and you'll see all these things we're talking about. The mermaid. I talked about the light shaft from the ground, and then this thing as well. So let me just tell her I re-invited her again. Sorry, this is fascinating. Dylan Knows, isn't it? Seeing me tweet people. Hopefully she'll pop back on. Let Daphne do. Re-invited you. So hopefully she'll get that. Lots of call restarting. Okay, she's restarting her computer. So she's restarting her computer, and she's got a couple of invites. So she'll pop up there. All right. So to continue on, so it looks like an airplane, literally in the sky, one shot, and then it's moving down, and then it's moving down. So it actually looks like something is landing. Now, yeah, I'm not one of these truly conspiracy-minded people, but I like to keep my mind open a little bit, and I would love for something like this to be true. I don't know if it is, or if it's just, as I said, scientific explanation, whatever. It's out there, and it happened. I mean, it's not like, Oh, crap. Okay, won't allow. Uh, hmm. I did not block you. Don't understand. Uh, uh, hmm. I will try again to re-invite, but may, I know this is great, isn't it? But may just shut down the episode. All right, so we're going to try one more time. So unfortunately, it looks like Google's being stupid again. And okay. I know. I'm still here, and I have a few more things I want to stay, and I'm losing viewers left and right. I know. All right, so I'm just going to finish this up now. So you had that, and then they also had some views of cigar-shaped objects that had been sighted in the skies above Mars, also taken by Curiosity. But a lot of people think that that might be the Mars orbiter around it. Might picture the Mars orbiter taking pictures of that as well. But it's still, it looks like it's once again descending, like it's landing. So, who knows what's going on Mars? We don't know because we don't actually have physical people out there on Mars saying this is what it is. We don't know for sure if it's going to be this gamma thing or if it's a hot pixel or whatever. We need somebody out there to actually look around and see what's going on up there, and that's not going to happen for a really long time. So, as far as now, it's just interesting information like that. They also have a shot of buildings on Mars, and as I was talking to Larissa out before we got cut off, that there was a humanoid, proof of humanoids on Mars, and there's some weird pictures as well there. So it's neat to look at these pictures and neat to imagine the possibilities of what could be there, but you shouldn't take it too seriously. But they're interesting. So go to YouTube, type in the search engine, look for like Martian anomalies or Martian pics or Martian lights or Mars lights or something like that, and you'll see a whole bunch of stuff connected to it, and you'll see some really cool pictures that are really interesting and fascinating, make you go, So I was going to end this at 1:30 anyway, due to the fact that I do have family who's here now, and in fact I lost my co-host, which is a shame. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do here. I might need to pick up a new computer sooner than later, so we will see what happens. But for now, I'm going to shut this down early. Thanks for all my viewers who hung on. I'm sorry for the shortness of this video. Hopefully we'll have everything fixed and organized by next Sunday. It's probably not going to be next Sunday. It's probably going to be next Saturday. I got to work it out with my co-hosts. It's Dylan Knows International next week with Bronwyn, Brianne, and Mike from Pagan are going to be on. It should be an interesting gender-bending episode, and I'm going to be in discussion with them all week to see what's going on with that, and we'll work out either Saturday or Sunday to do that. Right now it looks like it's going to be closer to Saturday because we've got stuff going on Sunday. Larissa sent me back a tweet that says, keep trying but won't allow, the aliens are to blame. Yes, we are getting too close, so they are cutting our transmissions down. So they want us to shut down the show, so we probably will. So next week, it'll probably be on Saturday because I got something going on Sunday. Probably on Saturday, we'll have Dylan Knows International with Bronwyn, Brianne, and Mike from Pagan, our gender-bending episode, which you're just going to have to see for yourself if we're going to end up doing it. I'll have to see if they don't chicken out. Hopefully they won't chicken out. I'll talk to them about that this weekend. We'll get a firmer date. And Tony, we'll get a firmer date to you just so you can announce it on Snark Alk Radio, which you need to start watching Thursdays at 9:15 p.m. ish. start watching Snark Out Radio. They're the grandpappy of us all. They've been on for over a year, and so they keep on chugging as well. That's with Tony Solo, Kelly Toole, and Mike from Pagan. So I think they've got a musician on this week. I don't remember what his name is, but check it out, 9:15 p.m. Thursday. Check out Snark Out Radio, and be back here either Saturday or some other time on Sunday or Friday. We'll work out a time when everyone will be suitable for Dylan Knows International. I do have in September also will be my year of knowledge, where I'm trying to do 2 episodes of every show, but if my computer is going to start acting like this, I won't be able to, so I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with that, how we're going to fix that up. But hopefully I'm going to be able to do my 2 episodes of every show, special events, stuff like that, as I talked to you, trying to get Dustin Perry to come on the show. I'm also got line in with Gerald Webb, actor extraordinaire, also a casting agent for movies such as Sharknado 2, and Asylum movies. Will be on one of these episodes with Larissa, and we'll get that starting to talk. So, for Larissa, who unfortunately was ejected by the aliens, and the aliens who are trying to bring us down, this is Dylan Lang, and I'm going to end broadcast and going to try to take on the aliens myself. So thanks for hanging with me, and sorry for the shortened episode. And Larissa, I'm very sorry that this happened. So hopefully next week things will be worked out, and we'll figure out what we're going to do. All right, guys, take care. Bye.